Right, welcome to Thursday, not live and pre-recorded on Wednesday with Kaz and Ben.
Hello.
Obviously, due to Saints playing Thursday, and we've got the women's game before that, which I'll be going to as well. So, going to be a busy one tomorrow. Right, Ben. I think me and you might have difference of opinion regarding the York game, but those results. I'll give you the floor first, Ben.
Yeah, I thought it was very disappointing because that was a very winnable game. And you score 32 points, you should expect to win any game if you score 32 points. So it was, disappointing that our defence really let us down, which was on the back of far too many
discipline as well.
Six again penalties. But also just a lot of individual missed tackles as well, which is really poor to see. Like I said, with the ball, for most of the game, very, very good. It's the best we've looked with the ball in a very long time. But there's two obviously sides to a rugby game, and I just thought we conceded more to York, or conceded almost exactly the same to York as we did to Wigan away. I mean, I just think you should be expecting much better defence, coming off the back of that Wigan game, and just a lot of just silly mistakes, silly errors. It's a game that that one that got away, one of those games. We should have won. It wasn't Wigan away this time. It was York, and as bad as we've been at times, they're below us in the table. They've done better than expected, but they're not a great team. So, I can't help but be a little disappointed. And especially at the end of the game, to see your captain not take that kick.
Yeah, I've seen people saying he's ducked out of it, but I mean, we don't know, do we? We can only speculate on that.
We don't know, but it was interesting, talking about having a bit of a tight hamstring, and maybe he did, but wasn't enough for him to go off the field. He stayed on for the kickoff, after the kick was missed, and I just feel like that's why
it is a reason why he didn't kick for a couple of games earlier in the season.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just it doesn't look good. The optics of it don't.
No,
look
it doesn't.
Good.
No,
captain. He talked a lot about that missed one at Wigan at Magic Weekend, and he talked loads about I'll get the next one, I'll learn, and then a kick from touch the last couple of minutes, and it's not even your second choice kicker, because if everyone was fit, you probably have people like Percival. Even if Whitby was in there, he'd probably kick before Sailor.
Yeah.
So you've got someone really low down on the scale when it comes.
He's a proven kicker as well, though. Sailor, he can put them away,
but he just never kicks. You just can't expect him to get that from touch on the wrong side for a right-footed kicker. He's not kicked in months, really. He's done the odd one. I thought that was a bit disappointing.
It's Sailor all over this season. He keeps putting his hand up, and it doesn't always work, but he keeps putting that hand up because he wants to do well for the side. And I can't knock him for trying it.
No, I'm not knocking him. I just think it looks bad on Hastings. Nothing. You can't expect Sailor to get that kick in those circumstances. It would have been brilliant if he had got it. It would have been amazing. But overall, just horrendous discipline. So many missed tackles. It looked like it felt like a bit of a step backwards from Wigan, where it felt like we were building towards something. But in attack, very good. Harry Robertson. What a shame. Probably the best individual performance I've seen in since maybe Barber was at the club, and it's at a loss.
Yeah.
Which
I'm going to go inside a bit more later on.
Which is a big shame, because it's probably going to be forgotten about now when it doesn't deserve to be. But Welsby looked better, more comfortable as well. He looked a bit more comfortable at Wigan. He looked a lot more comfortable in that game too as well. So pros and cons, but definitely a game that I think we should be expecting to win, even with that squad out. And we just left it a little too late. Just that start of that second half, and most of the second half just got away from us a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I am going to take some positives out of it, if you can believe that. being 2 scores down at that point of the game, I've seen Saint sides roll over at that point this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was encouraging, the fact that he didn't give up and he kept going in. Even trying to kick it, you know what I mean, like last couple of seconds, just trying to get it upfield, trying to hopefully get a winger onto the ball. Don't mind that. I'm happy losing a game that way than just trying to go up the middle and just not even trying. And also,
some positives.
And Billy Keeley making his debut, I thought he had a decent game when he come on. To a point where I've watched a clip of O'Carroll's presser, and he's actually said he's going to start him. Well, tonight. We'll call it tonight.
Yeah, which is good. Good to hear. It's the type of thing that you want to see. If they go in and they do well, then just keep them in.
Reward
you're good
them,
enough, you're old enough. Reward them. Obviously, you don't want him to rack up game after game. He's had one game. He's only had one game, so keep him in. Yeah. It's the type of
thing. And by starting, he's going to see more of him.
Yeah, it's the type of thinking I hoped we would have seen with Campbell, but we didn't. Which obviously that was down to keeping the decision that Rowley made for the team because of how late that change was for that game, which is fine. It's fair enough, but that's the type of thinking I want. That's the type of attitude I want towards the younger lads, and it'll help set us up for the future. So it's a good attitude from O'Carroll as well, because he's going at the end of the season, but he still seems to be invested in the future of the club beyond when he leaves.
He's trying to lay some foundations for who comes in next. Yeah,
definitely. So you got to hold. You got to appreciate that from the coach as well. It's a bit interesting as well to like one extreme to another. We went from Rowley, where he would not give anything away in a press conference. He basically wouldn't say anything of value, to Eamon O'Carroll basically naming his starting 17. I just thought that was a bit funny. The massive difference between them both. I like more open honesty and more transparency. So I thought it was a good press conference. Said some good things, and I think he's doing the right thing, keeping Billy in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it. Yeah. In the day, I mean, if he has a bad game, he can say, "Okay, well, you've had your chance now. I'll rest you the next game. Keep working in training. Then we'll see where we are the week after." Yeah. He'll take that in his stride.
And we're towards the end of the season, only a few games left now anyway. So it's at the point where just play the young lads. If there's only like 6 games left, just if they're good enough, just play them.
Yeah, got nothing to lose now.
They're not going to get overworked in 6 games. They'll have a big pre-season right after it. So, they'll be fine.
Yeah, spot on there. So we've got Hull FC coming up. There's a squad here. And was not expecting that name in there, number 17, George Whitby. I thought he'd be done for the season, to be honest. Yeah,
and again, O'Carroll just straight up saying he's going to be on the bench, like he's going to be in the match day squad. So you imagine, looking at that squad, he's going to cover 9, do you think?
I don't know, because there's been a lot of mention of him from when he's in the academy playing with Robertson in the halves. There's been talk there. So unless
or if Hastings' little niggle is more than we thought, and maybe he just starts with Robertson,
I mean, I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't say no.
Definitely not.
Also, we have got Humphreys and Burns there for 9, so we're all right there.
I want to say as well, I want to defend Tom Humphreys a little bit here. So I saw him get some pelters for those 2 forward passes from the ruck. For me, that's just as much Jack Welsby's fault, both of them, as it is Tom Humphreys. Because why is Welsby stood in front of the ruck waiting for the pass?
Yeah.
He's acting on instinct. It's a split second. You get down, you look up, you pass the ball. For me, it's on Welsby both times. The experienced player, why are you stood in front of the ruck? Granted, with a bit more experience, he'd have taken that split second to go, oh no, I can't pass to him. I'll have to run or go left. But let's give him a break, and he's like third ever game or whatever it is. Welsby has a 50% blame of that as well.
Yeah. What gets to me is it's funny how they spot them, but they can't spot one that winging throw that's 5 meters forward. leading to a try.
Oh,
That's all right, isn't it?
Not just one. You may as well call
Oh,
in French Tom Brady. He does them every single week.
I know.
They never call a single one of him, and he does it every single week. But oh well.
And you know what? The people have actually had the cheek to say that try that we scored, the second to last one, would come from our own in goal, saying, "Oh, there's 2 forward passes in there." Well, fucking were.
There's no forward passes in that.
No, if you want to talk momentum rule, that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
again, such a shame. I will never want to watch that game back ever again. And we probably scored one of the best tries we've ever scored in Super League. And I just have no interest in ever seeing it ever again now. Yeah, it probably will be as well.
We'll be able to watch that back.
You know, maybe give it a few years.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what though? I want to shout out York as well, because take nothing away from them. They played some good rugby league there. They had a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can see how bad we were, but you have to be there to deal with it, don't you?
Yeah, they throw the ball around well, and the forwards, you know, I think a pretty underrated little pack they've got there as well.
Yeah,
I think for most of the game got the better of us for a lot of it.
Yeah, I can't knock them, to be fair. I mean, they didn't do anything wrong either. You know what I mean? They just played what was in front of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And also the people of the city of York who decided to give us a bit of tongue-in-cheek wind-up Saturday night and Sunday morning, which is fair enough. You know what I mean? It's the first time they've beaten us in 80 years. Well within the right to give us a bit of grief, like.
Yeah, it's fair enough, isn't it? Goes both ways.
And do you know what though? Right, it was never like you have it with Warrington and Wigan and like other ones where like the breather onto you. It's just like, oh, what was that about there? Bloody hell, can't believe we beat you lot. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I'm like, I made fair play to you. Well, you know, I'm actually happy for them, if you can believe that.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest wins like ever, you'd have to say. Would you? Yeah, probably one of the biggest wins.
Don't forget, they knocked off KR in round 1.
Yeah,
they've run a lot of teams close.
So they've had
not a team to be sniffed at.
Yeah, so probably KR would be number 1. Obviously, they've not had a great season either, but like round 1, that you're playing defending champions,
they've just won the World Club Challenge.
Just won the World Club Challenge, so that but probably the top 2 biggest wins in the club's history, other than trying to think. I was going to say, did they win the old Northern Rail Cup? But I don't think they did actually. I'm not even sure if they've ever won a cup, York. I'll have to look into that. I'll look into that for next week.
I'll tell you something else as well. With the way they're playing now, it's such a shame that there's such little people in that stadium. Because you had that full stand behind the post that was empty. Then one side was pretty full. We had one corner of it, and the other side was like one section. I'm thinking, Joe, what if they could start filling this stadium? It could be onto something here. And it'd be a good thing for the sport.
The building,
the building,
they were getting even less in the championship, So
yeah,
they're and it's not a big rugby league place, so they're just step by step. I like the fact though that for the time being they've got a stadium where they can at least get some good atmosphere in it, because it's not it's not like they don't have the Huddersfield problem of there's just so much empty space for the sound to go all over the place. It's good that at least they don't have loads, or at least they're all packed in there, and they can create a bit of noise, because it sounded always sounds quite loud when you watch them on TV. It always sounds like
it's nicely located as well, to be fair. You got enough going on outside it as well.
Yeah.
So I'll be back next year, definitely.
Yeah, hopefully I will be there next year as well. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Anyway, we were supposed to be talking about Hull FC, weren't we?
Hull FC, indeed. Hull FC. I mean, what do you reckon?
No disrespect, and never want to disrespect any club, but even with what we've got now, if we don't win this game, we might as well say goodbye to the season straight away.
I don't think it's disrespectful. I think their fans would say a lot harsher things than we can.
We're not like that, Ben.
They will listen. Just read what their own fans are saying about them. We all know what's going on. They are horrendous. They're a basket case of a club, And it's not because, not like some other teams that near the bottom where they don't have the resources and the fans and they didn't have a load of signings. They had everything they could ever wanted. The last 2 years, they've signed God knows how many players over the last 24 months. Must be 20, 30 odd players in the last 2 seasons. They've had new people in at the top, getting Richie Myler in. They have one of the biggest fan bases in the league, one of the best stadiums. It is an embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment where they are. They should be, no questions asked, in the top 6 of any season. And just by the size of the club alone and the resources they have, it's almost harder to build a squad and a club that is that bad than one that's good. With the money that they've got to throw around, they spend up to the cap. I'm pretty sure they use the marquee slots as well, all of them. And they are just spending it on absolute rubbish. And they've been awful.
You know what? They have made a signing in Bailey Hodgson. Hodgson. I think Leah daft to let him go. I rate him. I really do rate that lad.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though. One of the few bright sparks of that team, Davey Litton, gone.
Going to Waker.
I get you get a transfer fee and you need to rehaul the squad. I get it to an extent, but when you're starting at you can count on one hand the amount of really good players Hull FC have, and you're getting rid of, especially someone who's so young and has got so much potential. A big club doesn't do that. That's not what a big club acts like. They're not acting like a big
This
club.
is my argument now. We have these rumours of Robertson going to Wakefield.
Well, that's second choice.
If they need the money, you don't let a player go like that.
That's second choice. That's why they've gone to us. We didn't sell Robertson. Now they've gone for Litton instead. And Hull, unlike other teams, just go on. We'll take the money in the short term. They've got owners that are loaded. They earn a lot. They have one of the highest turnovers in the league. You can't be that desperate for a bit. I'm not. I can't. I just don't understand with how they've been.
Something's not right.
Something is not right, and I think it starts at the top.
It's since they've brought in Myler.
Myler, he's clearly not done a good job. He's director of rugby, isn't he, or whatever? They might have a different name for it there.
That's what he's doing.
Something
no
like
idea
that.
what he's doing now.
But he's in charge of all those rugby decisions, and he has been a disaster. He's been an absolute disaster. The way they handled
they've done is bring him Matt Namara for next season. That's it.
Yeah. The way they handled John Cartwright, the way they did that was a disgrace. The players they've signed over the last 2 years, just without trying to be disrespectful, if you want to be pushing on from where you were a few years, let's not forget a year or two ago, they were a team that was around 6th or 7th, and everyone was saying now they need to just push on to be a top 4 side. That's what everyone expected. Yeah. Everyone was like, they're around about there. They need to push on now, and they just got the other direction, and it's crazy. I think it's absolutely crazy. You are right.
You had them and Wakefield battling for 6, and then Wakefield has gone bang, and they've gone.
Yeah, you are right. We have to win this game, and I will not take any kind of mitigation. I will take no mitigation.
Even with what we've got, we should win this.
Yeah. Listen, we scored a few tries away at Wigan with a decimated squad. Our defence at Saturday wasn't good, but we stuck 34 on a team, that has the head, that has the tails up. Sorry, we're at home.
We're scoring 32.
We're scoring more points now. Even with our shaky defence and discipline, surely we score enough points to beat these. You'd like to think,
Just have to keep Logan Moy quiet if he's playing.
Yeah, this should be a banker for me. It should be a banker.
Yeah.
Unless we get a red card 2 minutes in or something. Other than that,
even then we should bloody beat them.
It probably should. You look at the Huddersfield game. If you lose a game like that to Huddersfield, the manner that they lost to Huddersfield, and I was
more gutless than ours.
That was gutless, really gutless. So obviously, that is why I am more nervous than ever for this game, because our defence has not been good, our discipline has been poor, and we seem so often to, really play down a lot when we're facing these lower down teams, and we don't always play our best. We seem to
we don't show them respect.
We seem to match the opposition no matter where they are in the table a little bit, and I'm worried that I don't want them to be saying what we're saying, the players. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
we can say that we're not playing. We can say we should win. The players should be absolutely switched on for this.
Treat it like a playoff game.
Because listen, even though it's very unlikely now, and even the likelihood of even getting to the grand final, even if the playoffs is astronomical, you are paid professionals. There is still a chance of getting in the playoffs. So for me, they should be going, well, we can still, they should still be aiming to get into the playoffs, and they should be treating every game now like a cup final.
Yeah.
6 cup finals.
Is possible.
Like, that's what they should be treating it as, 6 cup finals.
Yeah.
And we should expect nothing less, We've said this before about the effort and, silly mistakes and being switched on mentally. Like, that is the minimum the fans will always expect, and that's what they need to give us. And if they do that, it will be a win against a team like Hull FC. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Elsewhere across Saints, we've had some decent results there. Reserves Academy doing the double over Bradford, which is encouraging, considering we've got most of the reserves and academy in the first team.
And I say, both their squads have been disrupted a lot. So quite a few injuries. Catching up with somebody as well who knows a bit more than me about those teams. So very good results for them. Very, very good results. And good to say.
I'm hoping last week, so I do apologise for that.
I'm hoping to, very much hoping to get down to another academy game before the end of the season. It's always, like I said, it's something to do rather than sitting at home, and it's cheap as chips most of the time. So
if you season ticket holder, you're usually free entry anyway.
Season tickets are free. You're a fiver if you're not. Fiver.
Yeah.
And if you go watch the Scholars, that's always free. Scholars is free. If you're ever, I think usually Blackbrook. Sometimes they play other places, but usually at Blackbrook. Yeah,
usually Blackbrook or Ruskin.
Yeah, you could just show up. So you get to see the future stars. Fingers crossed.
There you go. Hopefully, you'll say, "Oh, I remember watching him at Ruskin for the Scholars."
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. Finally, Ben, the women are back. Finally, and
they are indeed.
What a way to kick off against Wigan.
And it is. Can they break? Can they break this losing skid? They have, aside from the Wembley games, in the league, in all the league games since Wigan really stepped up in quality, Saints have lost by a try to 2 tries every time. They're so close. They've drawn one last season as well. Can they finally just find that extra little bit, that extra 1 or 2%? I think this will be a tight game. I don't know what happened. I don't know what gets into them at Wembley where they end up getting battered. But in the league games, this is a fixture. This is a proper fixture. And I think
that's why I'm making a point of going down there to watch it.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have a really, really good game on our hands, and Wigan will rightly be favourites. But it's at our ground. Apart from a couple of the long-termers, not many injuries in the squads. A couple of the younger girls who have had game time this year, I think have brought in some well-needed like pace and agility. This is hard to call. I would expect Wigan to win by a try or 2, but never write off the Saints.
They haven't released the squad yet, but we do have a new sign, a promotion into the first team. Arabella Dow. I hope I've said that right.
You're a try guy.
Looking forward to No, that's best I'm going to get.
There you go.
So, look forward to see her out there with the first team.
He's seen a lot the last 2 years. I noticed it last year. It's happened again this year. They are just promoting. I think they realise that there's a rebuild on end of the season. I think the transition begins. I think you'll see, obviously you'll see Jodie and Emily go. I think you might see 1 or 2 others of the more experienced ones go as well. I think there's a rebuild coming. in this
But
off
they're
season.
introducing them now to get used to the first team system.
Exactly, and they're doing a very good job of it. And I think it's just needed. You're seeing that rapid development in the quality of player because of the resources now available. You see it with like the Wigan youngsters they promoted over the last couple of years, and I think you're going to see it with some of ours as well. So it's it might be a bit of a rough time in the sense that there might be a bit longer for another trophy, but I think it's also exciting in a way because you get to see we've only ever really known one Saints squad in the women's game. Like there's been a few coming and goings, but the core, 6 or 7, 8 players that have just been there the entire time.
Jodie, Emily.
And Amy obviously went for a little bit and came back, and Zoe's there. All people like that.
Faye Gaskin.
Yeah, Faye. So it's a bit exciting, I think, the next 2 years where we're going to see like the first ever new squad because it's you forget it's such a young team. We've only known one key core of players.
Just show how young the sport is as well at the level that they are playing at.
So I think it's really exciting. It's an exciting time, but don't completely write them off for the end of the season. It could be they could have enough in them for one final hurrah. They've got that mix now of some good youth and those older heads who have been there and done it. So I think we could have an exciting end to the season potentially. And it starts.
I like this format as well, where it's like instead of having that drop off in quality with the top 4, bottom 4, they're all going at each other instead of like Wigan playing Huddersfield or Saints playing Barrow or whatever it is. We've got to earn every point now. We've got to earn every single point now.
Yeah, and this is where every game's a good game now. For both sides of it, because the lower sides will, get competitive games as well. So it's, I think it's a good way. The way they organise it for where the teams are at the moment is the sensible way to do it. And now we get nothing but competitive games, hopefully, in all the women's fixtures.
Yeah. Well, I'll get those up now. Actually, those women's fixtures because it is quite interesting. So we've got Wigan at home this week, Leeds away, Leeds at home next Saturday, Wigan away the Saturday after.
Yeah.
Then we play York home and away 2 weeks apart, and then Leeds on the 12th September away. So
all
getting the home games in early. Yeah, get the home games in early and get the points on the board, and then should beat York. Leeds can be a bit iffy because they're still up there, but
indeed, yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to it.
I am.
Speaking of looking forward, go on, Ben. Sorry.
No, go on. Just going to say I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to move on, but if you've got something on there,
no, let's have it. No, I've said me piece. Let's crack on.
Right, fair enough. Yep. Walk it off time. No fresh injuries for a change that we know of.
Hallelujah.
But, this young man, this young fella's back now, George Whitby. As we mentioned before, Lord Carroll has said he is gonna feature. He is gonna get some minutes. So I can only assume he takes Hastings off.
Yeah, I think I imagine maybe they leave Humphreys out and they spell him at hooker, but not just for that, but just to be an option for multiple positions. It's the position, just as a slight aside, that I think Tristan Saylor should be. I think Saylor is like the perfect 14.
Yeah.
I think the perfect 14. He can
said something that's very interesting. So he's sort of like the Jason Hooper kind of player at the minute, Tristan Saylor.
But I think he's even I think he's even more versatile because I don't think Hooper could have played like full back wing centre too well.
Yeah,
but
you get what I mean, though. That sort of situation was like, right, we need you here.
I think Saylor is the perfect first choice on your bench because you spell him at hooker, you can spell hooker, you can spell 7, 6, 1, 2, 3. Like he can literally, apart from the forwards, he can cover every half and back position. And I suppose technically,
I think he's played every position from like 1 to 7, or 1 to 9 actually.
1 to 9, yeah.
Barring
it's only second row prop loose. He even may have had a game at loose. I don't know, but he's the only ones you could never imagine him playing are probably he could probably like do a job at loose. I'm not advocating for that, by the way, but I mean I've seen other attempts that we've had at loose forwards this year. I don't think Sailor would be any worse. I think it's literally only second row and prop that you couldn't play him. So for me, that's like the perfect. You have that player at 14 for me, and you just have to throw the game.
He puts his hand up every time. Yep, I'll do it.
He does. But yeah, sorry, that was
we need more people like that.
That was a slight aside. Yeah, Whitby, great to see him back. You know what? If Jackson is pulling that hamstring still a little bit, let's do it. Let's have Whitby Robertson 6 and 7.
They've played together for a long time in the academy.
People have called for it time and time and time again. A lot of people think it's what we might have to go with going forward in terms of like the next couple seasons in the halves. So there's no better time to try it like the present,
Yeah, like I say, I'm all for. I'd rather have a team of bloody teenagers than the way the senior players are going at the minute, because at least they're going to play for the badge.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't think there was effort the last couple of weeks with the senior. I thought seniors have done well effort-wise last couple of weeks, but yeah, silly mistakes that, and no one's going to have a perfect game every game. Like, no one misses a tackle on purpose. No one gives a penalty away on purpose. But, you are right. Like, these are, some of them are a bit silly. So, like,
need to tighten up.
They need to, I can forgive a younger lad having ill discipline. It's kind of harder when it's someone who's like, played like 200 odd games
like
and won about 8
30s.
trophies. It's a bit harder. But I will say overall, they're not like, we have completely bounced back from what the disgrace of Toulouse. The senior lads have been a lot, like, effort-wise and commitment. It has been there, but they still need to just tighten up that discipline a little bit, and they should know better as well.
What, Ben? You're like this, right? So you mentioned the Toulouse game.
Yeah.
At the end of the York game, right, I was stood clapping the players, right, because I thought, well, do you know what? Yeah, they have had a go. It's a team of young lads, more or less. I mean, they've all grafted, especially Robertson. So if you're going to clap anything, you clap him, even if it's just him.
You just,
I had some fella come sorry, mate, how can you clap that? I'm like, have you seen how many players we've got out? Have you seen the fact we've got a team of kids out there? You know what I mean? He got really aggressive. I'm thinking, I got to like get my guard up here or something.
That's very odd. You know what? Every fan who pays money has the right to react how they want, but you don't. Of course you do. You don't get a say in how other people react. You do not get to say if that fella's wound up, leave. Just leave the stadium.
Yeah.
Don't
I think
let people react how they want to react. Like, people need to get out of other people's this super fan stuff that goes on. I'm a better fan because just leave everyone. If you want to clap, if you want to boo, if you want to just like walk away without doing anything, but that's a disgrace. Like, you don't ever go up to another fan for how they're reacting to a game. Yeah. I think that's shocking.
People say like, we're getting beat by York though. Say, yeah, but you're getting beat by almost a full squad in York. I mean, I'll never use injuries as an excuse, but we've got a lot of young players out there. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to clap, I want to clap Robertson on his own, if anything.
I think, you know what? I'm someone who thinks that we really should have won that game. And I wouldn't even think of like policing how other people react. I don't. Why'd you care?
The best line he came out with, right? Do you think that was better than Toulouse? I'm like, fucking yeah.
I mean, come on. It was Toulouse game. I don't think I've ever game in my life.
To be fair, the fellow was like, come on, let's have you. Because you think his mate knew he was being a dickhead.
Yeah. Probably won too many jars by the sounds of it.
That's it. I mean, and do you know what? I didn't really react to it.
I'm sorry, but if you don't think
people out.
If you don't think that was better than Toulouse, we didn't score any points against Toulouse. What are you on about?
Do you know what? I think it was just an in the moment reaction. To be fair, so I'm not going to roll it against him.
But you know what? People need to they need to get out of that mindset. You react how you want to react. No one can ever take that away from you, but you can't take it away from other people as well. So if you see people clapping,
clap,
and
you don't clap, you walk out.
If you think in your head, oh, why is he clapping? Well, there you go. Keep it in your head. No one needs to hear it. Like, so
the only time is if when people are leaving and they're like, where are you going? Get behind them.
To be honest, I'll even go as far as say I don't mind it. I don't agree with it a lot, but I think if you've paid money, you do what you want, and I won't get involved in it. I don't agree with it, but I'll never jump in and say anything to them because it's not my cash. Like,
do you know what? I can live with it if they go, well, the shit. Like, okay, fair enough. But when they go, oh, I'm driving, it's like, so if we were winning, would you be going early to drive? No, you wouldn't. Don't stand there lying to me face. You know what I mean?
Just leave everyone alone, and no one should be talking to anyone about how they react to a game, unless like we lose 50-0 and someone is like cheering. Then they probably need psychological help. Like they're probably a bit weird, but generally, just leave people alone. Everyone, like, come on, like we don't need the fans sniping at each other. We're united, and we've all got our own opinions, and
we're supposed to be in this together,
and that's how it should be. As long as we turn up to games and we make some noise, after the game, let people do what they want after it.
Yeah, I just believe if you're going to fly high with them, you have to get in the trenches with them as well. That's just my opinion.
And I think, to be fair, people pay money to watch this Saints side at the moment is doing that. So I still don't have a problem with if they're pissed off in the moment at 80 minutes, because we all get like that sometimes.
Yeah, we can all react.
Like, just don't make it other people's problem. Like, if in the heat of the moment you're pissed off at a loss, that's fine. You'll probably feel a lot better about it the next day. But like in that moment, don't be going, oh, people don't agree with how I'm reacting. That's just soft. Sorry. That is just soft.
I mean, from what I did hear from people, I'm thinking, you don't go to many games. You've come up here for the piss up. You know what I mean? Like you can tell. I mean, I went up there for it myself, but the game was first and foremost.
The game's always first.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Don't do that if you do that.
Ben, we have to reach down into me little fridge down here.
Oh, your bag of tricks.
So I need a drink to talk about this.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, this is where the podcast gets interesting. It's a shame we're not live. This interview with a certain journalist, I'm not going to mention because
he winds you up
in trouble, won't I? Yeah. Now, I'm going to get this out the way first, Ben, because
go on.
You might disagree with a lot of it, and you're welcome to, but
go on.
I think we all know Jack is not. He's not a genius. He's a bit of a daft lad, right? And I think Matt Shaw, there you go, name dropped.
Yeah,
has manipulated him with the way he's worded his questions, and he's dragged out some dirty laundry out of him. That being said, I don't know why the club allowed it to happen, or they didn't go, well, oh, hang on a minute. With the way things are going, it might not be a good idea, this, Jack. And I didn't mind it. Everything he came out with, I thought, he's been honest, he's come out well, but when he starts talking about the Catalan game, that's where it gets a bit iffy for me. I don't know what you think.
I thought, I was dreading going into it. I thought he came across really well. I was very impressed with him because I've always got the sense that, he is a bit of a, we all know he's a wind-up merchant type of, that type of cheeky chap kind of guy. I didn't, sitting down for a serious interview, I was like, oh, there we go. I'm very impressed. I thought he came across really, really well. Matt Shaw tried his best to twist things at every little given opportunity. And you know what? I think he didn't rise.
It worked in times. It worked at times.
I don't think it did. I think the only one was talking about his future. And I don't get people's reaction to his answer. I think people are overthinking that answer. Oh, he's definitely going. I listened to that and I did not get the sense he was definitely going. I got the sense that he wants to stay, but we need to show some ambition as a club, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
which I think is absolutely
it has
fair
to work
enough.
both ways. He needs to put performances on the pitch. You know what I
he
mean?
does.
And he has been doing.
But I like the honesty about the standards, straight up coming out. Like, we had these standards under Holbrook Wolf. We don't have them. Like, they slipped. We let them slip. I love that. I love that he said that. I love that he took some accountability, and that he seems to, on behalf of the squad, take some accountability. I was very impressed with his honesty about that. And I actually think overall it looks good for the club. A lot of fans, we've talked about this openness, the transparency. It's not been there since like Wellens came in. And I like the fact he came out and just talked about those standards have slipped. Like, we need to do more. His answer about the fans, I think it was a daft thing to do. But I actually, on the other hand, also get what he means when he says, listen, you can boo, that's fine, but individual insults and mentioning family members like that,
you don't go personal.
Fair enough, but right, so as I was saying,
before we got really interrupted by dodgy internet.
Before dodgy internet interrupted, shout out to Gaz in the future for piecing it together. No, I'll keep it short anyway, because I almost finished what I was going to say anyway. I just thought I understood his general point about fans in terms of, like, we get standards and we get booing if the standards aren't there, but when, like, you see people running down to the front of a stand and individually, like, insulting like a player and bringing family and friends into it and stuff, completely agree with that.
Last year.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Fair enough. However, I think he probably should have just said, yeah, it was a bit of a silly celebration, because when you just do that on TV or at the ground, it doesn't look like you're only aiming it at certain people. It looks like you're aiming it at everyone. Yeah. Like, so that was my only thing. It's like, I get what you're saying, but you need to understand, like, optics and how things look. And that was the only bit I was hoping he would just say a proper apology and just say, no, it wasn't at all the fans. Sorry about that. It was a specific fans because, they stepped over the line, blah, blah, blah. But, he needs to be a bit more mature and realise, if you just do that, how do we know who that? We're not a mind reader. Like, all we see is you just looking at the crowd. So, but other than that, I actually thought it was a good thing. And he did very, very well, did a lot better than I thought he would in that type of scenario, especially with, who trying to stir the pot at any given opportunity. I thought it, came across quite professional, the most professional and mature I've ever seen, Jack. And it kind of made me think, you know what? Like I said, I mentioned this just before. I don't think what he was saying was him saying he wanted to leave. I think it was him saying, give me a good offer, sign some good players. And I think we need to give him the captaincy. I think you give him a good offer, you promise him signings, and you give him the captaincy. And granted, he keeps up his resurgence in form as well, because like you said, it's both ways. I think he will stay. I think if all that happens, he will stay.
I mean, I'm going to have to disagree with you, Ben, with respect, but I don't see him as captain material. I think he's too hot-headed.
But do you not think
if his head goes in one point in the game, it stays gone?
Like, do you not think it could make him be a bit more serious? Like, that is...
It could.
That was kind of my angle on it, where it might make him grow up a little bit, because he mentioned in the interview about, like, it's weird that he's like a leader now. Like, he doesn't feel like he's old enough, and all of a sudden he's this, like... So you got to think, like, over the last few years, like, it's been a huge change where he went from being a young guy and all the people above him have gone, all the older guys have gone or are about to go. He does need to prove it. I get what you're saying. He needs to prove it a bit more. But I think it could be a step forward for him, like maturing a lot as a player, and he seemed to recognise it a little bit. So I know I just kind of think if he keeps playing well, I would do it just to make him stay. And we have had the captain's an interesting role. It is an interesting one, because some clubs out there have had captains that are like a bit of an nutcase, but they're the type of captain that leads by example. And if he can keep playing well, I just think it might screw his head on a little bit, and it might make him, I think he would take it seriously. Just from what I've heard in that interview, I think it would make him, it'd change him for the better. But he does need to show a little bit more before that,
He needs to show a lot more maturity for me.
But I just don't know who else you offer.
We say this about like the likes of Jake Connor, who, he has been better this season at Leeds, but there has been moments where someone's got in his head and his game's gone.
Yeah.
And Welsby is very guilty of that, which concerns me. You didn't see Roby doing it. You didn't see Lomax doing it. No. You didn't see Wellens doing it. Even Wilkin didn't do it. And I weren't fussed on Wilkin anyway. And I don't think we need someone like that, especially when it's a young team as well.
But he's going to end up being one of the most experienced ones. So when Lees goes, I just don't know who else you give it to, because Hastings is not a captain. And even if he stays, I don't...
No, absolutely not. I don't think he's staying anyway.
Do you give it to Percival then at centre? He's probably not going to be... He might be. So I think if he ends up being like one of the oldest players, I think it's a huge insult to give it to a much younger person. And I don't think he would take that well. I don't think he's a captain really either. Like, I know, like he's been better this season, but again, I still have a bit of criticism for him because I do think a lot of it is against the worst teams, and I don't think he has shown enough against the better sides to be that lead by example captain. And he doesn't come across as loud on the pitch either. So at the very least, I don't think Hastings is the best captain material, but at least he fits that type of captain. He's loud and he does speak to people on the pitch and he's constantly talking. You don't always need a player like that to be a captain, because Roby wasn't a loud guy. He led by example. There's captain's not as important, I don't think, in modern game as it might have been years and years ago. So you can just have someone who leads by example as captain and isn't a big talker, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
If things aren't going our way, or if someone's having a bad game, is he capable of getting that player back round, or is he capable of getting the game by the scruff of the neck? And I think especially if his head goes, that's it. His game.
I will say, to be fair, Wellens' head went loads, and he was captain. Wellens' head would fall off constantly when we were losing games,
but it never affected his game.
I remember one game at Magic when we got battered by Wigan at the Etihad. And he literally let her try him because he started running over to the referee to complain about an obstruction and didn't bother actually stopping the player from going under the sticks. But he was still he was still a leader, and he was still. You can channel that type of thing. I don't mind if people get really wound up, but maybe being the captain could help him channel it in a more healthy way, because it'd give him that responsibility. And maybe, and and if he didn't stand up, if he doesn't step up to the task, you can always just take it off him. You can always take it off him. I just think it's whether do you want him to stay? Because I think the only way he stays is if you give him captain. I don't think he stays otherwise.
Did you see the promo video that PNG put out there announcing Matty Lees?
Yes, yeah.
There's a split second where Welsby's face in that video.
I think that's a bit of a conspiracy theory. I don't think they'd.
I know, but it makes sense. It's like he's talking about other players who's gone over there. It just makes sense to me if he's flashed his face on there. You wouldn't do it by accident, would you?
I know. I don't think there's anything to it. Not that there won't ever be. Not that they might not be interested in him. But again, they could be keeping cards close to the chest, but they have been asked. Both Perth and PNG have been asked in the last year about Welsby, and both have said not interested. Which, to be fair, his performances, he wouldn't get into an NRL team. He's had a good couple of weeks. Let's not forget, he's had a pretty poor 2 years. So he still needs to show a lot more on the pitch himself for me. Like,
Paul correct, he's going to Wigan.
At the moment, I wouldn't be gutted if he left. At the moment, right now,
no, I won't be asked if he went now. I won't be bothered.
For me, he's played 2.5 good games at top level, the best he can be, in 2 years. So I think he's had a very poor couple seasons, and for me, he needs to just focus on ending the season like he has done the last couple of games, which has been a lot better. And if he can get that old Jack back and he can turn it into, not just the odd game, if he can turn it into the next 6 weeks of good performances, then I absolutely would throw everything at him to stay. But right now, he's still got a lot to prove for the money that he's obviously going to be on. I'm almost certain he's a marquee player at this point.
But we still haven't had an apology from him, like officially. He hasn't actually said, "I apologise to the Saints fans." We've not seen that yet, and I just can't let that go at the minute.
I'm not too bothered personally because he said he was aiming it. He's had a lot of individual stick, and I know I've seen the nutters in that West Stand who run right down to the front. For me, you deserve a slap if you do that. So I can understand why if he might think if he just all out apologizes, that is him apologizing to the arseholes as well. So. I get both sides of it. I just don't think it's anything to linger on. I think we just move on. We've got games to play, and all I care about, and I said this after the Catalan game when we talked about that, like whatever. If you want to get dead wound up, I can understand why. I personally just want them to win games. Like if they beat Wigan 40-0,
2 points on the ladder.
If they beat Wigan 40-0 and every celebration they're giving it the large to the fans, I'm not bothered. I just personally, it doesn't do anything to me personally. I can see why it might do to other people, but I just at this point, we have lost so many games. Just win games, and if you want to be weird in your celebration, crack on, be weird, just play well in the 80 minutes, whatever. If he started individually coming over and like individually insulting people, then I'd say that's stepping over the line. But just to like a big group of people, I don't know. I just think we need to. Let's just move on and just focus on tomorrow and the games after. If it becomes a bit more of a repeating pattern, then maybe you can say, the odd game, the odd try, a bit of a heat of the moment. He's an emotional guy. Whatever. If it becomes like a bit of a running trend, then I will start to say you've got a problem. But it's an emotional sport and he's an emotional guy. And I think, he just got a bit emotional and he did something a bit silly. I don't think we need to, let's not take things to heart now.
That's something you do to the away fans when they're giving you grief, though, isn't it? Not your own.
Yeah, it is. But let's just move. I think we just move on from it. Let's move
on from that.
Yeah, go on.
To this lad. He's getting better by the week, playing at number 6. Obviously, we know it's his natural position.
Yeah. But I said, we have been crying out for this. Paul Rowley's probably thinking, why didn't I just play him at 6? Why didn't I just play the guy at 6 all season? I might still have a job. Down up there with the best individual performance I've ever seen in a Saints shirt. The other one that comes to mind.
Try as well.
Exactly, and he just looks he just looks like comfortable and natural, and like he's just enjoying it a lot more. So it's something we've absolutely got to stick with now. I think he's cemented that. He's absolutely cemented that 6th position. Yeah, he's got to stick with it. We've wanted that proper running 6 for quite a while now, and we've got one who actually suits the bill and looks comfortable there. So,
and Joe, I'm actually not minding Sailor at centre as well. I'm not minding it.
I don't mind. I think we are desperate in the need for 2 proper out-and-out centres at the moment. But he's doing a better job. He's doing the best job he can. He's not a centre. You can't expect too much.
Yeah, but he's always there. He's always there where he needs to be.
Yeah, but
he's very, very good positionally though in a Sailor. So if you put him in a position, he stays there.
Yeah,
you don't see him trying to wander off into 6 or whatever.
I think. Robertson's pace is quite deceptive. I never really bagged him as a really quick player, but the way he was launching himself down the field, he's not like your Jay Field level of quick, but he's not slow. He's somewhere in between.
He's got a bit of Leon Price in him.
Yeah, I thought that the most natural looking running 6 I have seen since Leon Price at this club.
Yeah, or like a Danny Maguire.
I think
obviously they're massive comparisons to make, but that style of play.
But that style of play, constantly, going wide, making the breaks, half breaks, bringing people on, support play. That was such an underrated part of his game as well. The way he brought people onto the ball, so good. Like, very clever. Like, with the ball in hand, which he hasn't had to do a lot of. It's a very different type. Usually, it's you're attacking at centre. It's like, maybe a flick pass or a dummy and go, but you've got to think about all sorts, and there's all players all around you when you're in the halves. And I thought the way he created breaks as well. I think he got a few break assists too. I don't think they're technically counted, but he was the last pass before a couple of breaks. Really composed
off as well to send Welsby in as well.
Yeah, really composed with a break as well, not like a headless chicken when he made the break, which is something I've been a bit critical of Sailor of. I do think Sailor, when he makes breaks, makes some very bad decisions when he makes a break. Where Robertson made the right decision. I think there was only one time right near the end where he could have passed. And we ended up scoring in the corner, but he could have passed for a try up the middle, and that was the only time he made any sort of...
He had to bring himself in. He had to bring himself in for that as well, didn't he?
Only time he made any sort of even something you could vaguely criticise. Every other decision he made, spot on. And maybe after this season, when it's a bit less annoying, we can actually look at those just individual highlights and just appreciate that was some game. I think that was a coming of age type of performance, personally.
Yeah.
I really do. I really think that was an absolute coming of age performance from him. We've seen glimpses. We saw glimpses when he came onto the scene last season. He looked like he was stagnating a bit at centre. He didn't look comfortable there, and now it's like he's been re-unleashed again for the second time.
Yeah. I thought he was better at fullback than he was at centre, to be fair.
Yeah, I think fullback or six, both of those I think he can play and be comfortable in. But I think six, even better at six than he was at fullback. I just think, that's our number 6 now. It's Harry Robertson.
End of. Right, predictions time.
Here we go.
I think Tom's been drinking again. I don't see Cas beating KR.
He is at the point where he needs to make points up, doesn't he? So he's playing the game. He has to go for some outlandish ones. And
to be fair, you could say that about me picking Huddersfield.
Yeah, and he looks like a genius if he gets it. But no, Cas are not going to beat Hull KR.
He did pull a good one off last week, I think.
He did. I don't remember which one it was now, but I remember looking at him and he did pull a decent one off.
Was it?
Hey, Bradford is a prediction against Warrington as well. I really don't see that happening.
They've just got too many players out of the minute.
Yeah, I think Huddersfield to beat Catalan, guys, is a bit outlandish, and that's putting your neck on the line a little bit.
If that was in Perpignan, I'd have gone Catalan.
Right.
But because it's over here and we know Catalan aren't travelling well, that's the reason I've gone for it.
No, Catalan aren't doing much.
I can see why you two have gone Catalan as well.
Yeah, I just don't think Huddersfield. They've won they've they had a decent win recently, but I just don't see them as a team who can put 3, 4, 5 together. That's my thinking. Because they haven't shown it all season that they can back up performances most of the time. So, I don't know. It's
a 50-50 shout, though, isn't it? That one.
I think that's the closest game, other than obviously your Leeds Wakefield. I think that is
that game of the round. That is a massive game.
Yeah. So I think up to this point, probably game of the season in terms of we've not had two teams. We've not had two teams this good in form play each other yet. I don't think. Because I think even if you look at the form table, I think they're 1 and 2 in the form table as well. So at times, Leeds have tended in recent years occasionally to struggle a little bit at Wakey. It's not the best hunting ground for them. They did them in the cup, obviously, as well, fairly recently. And I just think the home advantage just gets them over the line. But that will be, be a tight one.
If Wakefield win, obviously I don't think they'll get 200 odd points. But they will go level, 34 points each. Leeds will stay up on points difference. So that's a very, very interesting game. And Wigan, I don't think, Wigan can't get up there either. They can only go second at best.
Yeah. So it's a big one for the League Leaders Shield, of course. I mean, Wakey, that'll mean a lot to them. I think to be fair, after so long without winning it, it'll still mean a lot to Leeds as well, because they've gone so long.
I'm going to give you the game of the season. That bank holiday, that midweek game between Warrington and KR, that should have happened early on.
That'll be a good game too. Yeah,
a massive game in regards to the table.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think Wire are pretty safe. I think it's massive for KR, isn't it? Because they could still,
they've
drop
got the better points difference as well.
Yeah, so that's another big one coming up. We can actually talk about that when we do the podcast, because it'll be before it'll be before we do it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Hull FC, Wakefield, Leeds, Castleford.
Yeah.
No, Castleford, Leeds, Lee, Hull KR. They're our last games.
Yeah.
So God knows where we're all going to be by the time we play Lee. I think Leeds going to be a write-off, isn't it? Straight away.
I think. We could
a write-off.
We could be completely out of it by then, or we could actually somehow miraculously already be in the six. It'd be nice if those games did mean something, because you'd have some cracking atmospheres for both those Lee and KR games if there's still something on the line, and they would end up being pretty big games. So
we should win. We should beat Hull FC, and Castleford's winnable. It's the rest that bother me.
Yeah. I think York was a big blow, because that was, for me, York, Cass and FC. I thought we had to win them. And I thought we probably had to win one or two other ones, potentially. Maybe two other ones. I was thinking 5 out of 7 last week, which we could still do. But it means we can only afford one more loss out of all those teams. That looks very unlikely to me with, Leeds, League, KR, all in there.
You never know, though. You just never know, do you?
Hey, never write off the Saints.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking gone now, isn't
it? Yeah, what a time to bring it back, though, if it happens.
Oh, yeah. We'll be lucky. Right, I think we'll wrap this up, Ben, before your internet bloody dies again.
Yes, indeed. It's probably going to go at any second. So thank you very much, everyone.
Well, I'll get yourself to work and put everything together. Oh, actually, forget I said that. Nothing wrong. We had no issues whatsoever. If there's any jumps in it, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Right, so, are you there tomorrow, Ben? Right, whatever.
I should be. I mean, I am absolutely on my backside money-wise. It's been a long summer. So I'm trying to just...
It's been up the arse.
Yeah, it really does. I go to far too many festivals, and then I have no money. Then I remember bills exist after the fact, after I've already spent all my money. So we'll see. I hope so. And if I am, and anyone out there notices us, come give us a shout anyway.
Aye. Well, I'll be there early for the women's game, myself and Tom, so we'll be there for that, and hopefully 2 wins on the night.
Hopefully, yeah. Thanks very much, everyone, as always. Yep. Thank you.
We'll be back live on Thursday next week, so we'll see you then.
See you then. See you. Oh.